If you wish to be inspired in life, what do you need to do? Bring the proper reason to do your best. But even that is not the end of the story. Why? Many times we have a strong reason and yet we don't do the thing. Why? We all know that we should eat well, we should not overeat, we should eat the right diet, right? And yet we don't do it and end up eating the ice cream and the chocolate. We have the reason with us, still we don't do it. What is missing? If you wish to motivate and fuel yourself in life, you have to give a big reason for this. What is the reason? But even that is not the end of the story. Why? Many times we have a strong reason and yet we don't do the thing. We all know that we should eat well, we should not overeat, we should eat the right diet, right? And yet we don't do it and end up eating the ice cream and the chocolate. We have the reason with us, still we don't do it. What is missing? It's not just a question of having the knowledge. It's a question of keeping the knowledge in your intellect. See, the intellect is like a vessel. Everything you hear, everything you see and read comes in the intellect. It's got 50 kinds of knowledge. What Swamiji said came in the intellect. What the atheist Richard Dawkins said, that also came in the intellect. And what the editor of the New York Times, Sam Harris, said, that also came in the intellect. Now, what your intellect picks up, that knowledge becomes activated. So you have to activate the knowledge. Like, for example, the parents say, स्वामी हमारा बेटा पढ़ता नहीं है, उसको कुछ समझाइए. My child doesn't study, please explain something to him. Arey, he is your child, you explain. He doesn't listen, Swamiji, what will I do? All right, beta, why don't you study? Uncle, my mind doesn't like to study. Big problem. Mind doesn't like to study. So mind doesn't like to go to the book. Mind likes to go to the video game. What to do? That's why I don't study. But the same child, when he or she goes to the final exam, the year-end exam, now the question paper is there, the child is sitting in the exam hall, there are 3 hours to answer that question paper, the 10 questions. Now the child brings the mind to focus and starts answering with razor-sharp attention. There is no distraction, not looking at the neighbor, not peeking out of the window, not thinking of movies and cricket or whatever. It's just the question and the best possible answer. He keeps that focus for full 3 hours. At the end of 3 hours, the teacher says, time up, give me your question paper. Pulls it out. Look, this child developed such focus. That kind of focus, if he had maintained through the year, he would have become a national scholar. But through the year, he was not able to do it, and all of a sudden he managed to do it. That means the ability to focus was there. The inspiration was needed. How did the inspiration come? When the intellect decided, these 3 hours are most important. Now, if I am careless, I will lose the whole year. All my classmates will go ahead. I will not get that university admission which I want. Once the intellect decided, it controlled the mind. So the intellect has such power in it that you bring the right knowledge to your intellect and you can pull the mind. The mind doesn't have the ability to resist a resolved intellect. Let's say somebody gives you a cup and you become convinced there is poison in it. Even on being tempted by $1 million, you will not be willing to drink. You have controlled your senses. Hare, it is a cup of nectar. Take it. No. If I drink it, I will die. I don't want it. Your intellect is telling you that there is poison here. So it's all a matter of bringing the right knowledge to your intellect. If you wish to be inspired in life, what do you need to do? Bring the proper reason to do your best and keep that knowledge in your intellect. You may have heard the story of Sant Eknath. He was a saint from Maharashtra. And somebody came to his house and said, Maharaj, man nahi lagta. My mind is so fickle and scattered. I am not able to bring it in sadhana. I sit in the morning for puja, but the mind runs in the world. And I take the name of God, but the mind is thinking of beta beti. And I do the aarti, but the mind is thinking what is the price of potatoes today. So Babaji, please tell me how to control my mind. Sant Eknath said, you are talking about controlling the mind? What I am seeing is you are going to die in 7 days. He said, really? A saint is telling me from his lotus mouth that I am going to die in 7 days. Maybe he's Trikaldarshi, maybe he saw into my future, who knows? Hare Maharaj, this is a big, terrible news you have given me. What do I do now? Please help me. Mahatma Ji said, look, don't worry so much. 7 days is a period. You just resolve, free yourself from all the encumbrances and come to me on the 7th day, uncluttered. I will tell you what's to be done. Now when he went back with this knowledge, I have only got 7 days to live. His whole perspective changed. Now it doesn't matter if I've got 7 days to live. It doesn't matter whether Obamacare remains or it is repealed, because I'm going to go. If I've got 7 days to live, it doesn't matter whether Nasdaq goes up or it doesn't. And it obviously doesn't matter whether the neighbor has got a bigger car or smaller car, because I'm going to leave my car in any case. So his mind became calm and relaxed. On the 7th day, he went, Maharaj, today is my last day. Tell me, what should I do? Mahatma Ji said, are you able to think of God today? He said, Maharaj, today my mind is only in God. It's not wavering from there. Sant Eknath said, you know why? Because your intellect is thinking, today may be my last day. That is motivating you. So he said, every day when I get up, I think, if today was my last day, what should I do? I lead every day as my last day, and then I become inspired. That is the way to inspire yourself. You think, if this is my last day, then what should I do? One poet, Saint Narayan, said, Do baatan ko bhuli mat, jo chahasi kalyana. If you want kalyan or welfare, don't forget two things. Which two things? We don't forget God? That everybody knows. You should not forget God. He says, Narayana ikamaut ko, duje Shri Bhagavan. First remember your death, then remember God. Otherwise, you will say there is God, but I am still not motivated. And when you remember your death, you'll think that now I need to put in my best. So now the science of motivation, we've got to the bottom of it. What is the science of motivation? Find a strong reason and keep that reason fresh in your intellect. People say, Swamiji, how to get inspired in my sadhana? I say, you can inspire yourself in a flash. It doesn't take much. Just bring the right knowledge. Why do people become uninspired? The knowledge slips out. When you listened to Swamiji's lecture, the knowledge became fresh. Yes, I must do Bhagavad Prapti. This human form is precious. And after the lecture is over, 3 months have gone by, the knowledge has slipped out. Back to square one. Right? So it's a question of what knowledge you keep in your intellect. Some people ask me, Swamiji, what is the source of your motivation? Because sometimes when they go to the JKYog website, and there they go on to the upcoming events, and then they see that Swamiji is constantly preaching in one city or the other or the other or the other. They say, how many cities do you visit in a year? I say about 60, 70. How many houses do you stay in a year? I say about 180. My God, what is your motivation? I was taught the science of motivation when I was a young man from my Guru, Kripaluji Maharaj. He had called me to his ashram to teach me all the scriptures. And then he said that after your studies are complete, I want you to go and distribute this knowledge for the benefit of others. So I had no past experience in speaking in the public. And since it was going to be important for the service I would be doing, I thought I may as well practice to speak as well. Only problem is, in the ashram there used to be 15 people, there was no public. So I tried to give a lecture to the wall in my room. Ever tried to give a lecture to a wall? It is most demotivating. Because the wall will not even respond with a smile or a nod that yes, you said a good point and well done or whatever. I found it quite difficult. Then finally I went up to Kripaluji Maharaj and I said, Maharajji, can you please depute some ashram vasi, some resident of the ashram who can just sit and listen to my lecture for 2 hours every day? I'll practice every day. Now the problem was that everybody was busy in the ashram. Nobody was free to take out 2 hours. So he used that as an opportunity to teach me a lesson of life. He said, "Look, my son, remember, carelessness doesn't come from the outside. Carelessness comes from the inside. It all depends on what knowledge you keep in your intellect. Sayat kamo bhavati tat kratur bhavati, yat kratur bhavati tat karma kurote, yat karma kurote tadabhi nishpadyate." If you keep the proper knowledge, you will develop an intense aspiration. When you have an intense aspiration, you will make a firm resolve. When you have a firm resolve, you will put in determined effort. When you put in determined effort, that is how you will become. And if you don't keep the proper knowledge, you will not develop the intense desire to serve or to grow or whatever. And when you don't have that intense desire, your resolve will be weak. So your effort will also be lukewarm, and that is the result which you will get. So when he explained that, I said, now it is Guru Agya. Now I have to do it. So the next time, I said, all right, now no carelessness from inside. And I found that I could give a full lecture to the wall. After that, it became a daily effort. Then I was giving lectures to trees. And next to the ashram were cornfields. I would go and give lectures to the cornfields, or the cows that were grazing there, or the canal that was going by. I could give lecture to anything. Why? The mischief of the mind had been removed by a simple tweak of knowledge. So, how do I motivate myself? I just keep the proper knowledge in the intellect. What is the proper knowledge? This human form is very rare. The soul is on a journey. It has had many lifetimes before, it will have many lifetimes until it is with God. And it is passing through 8.4 million species of life. There is no guarantee that we will get the human form next time again. Kab hunka kari karuna nar dehi det is binu hetu sanehi. Once in a while, the soul, by God's special grace, gets the human form. In other words, don't think that you can take it for granted. Next life again you will become a human. There is no such guarantee from God's side. If you have spent all your life sleeping, God says the human form is not suitable for you. You become a polar bear and sleep for 6 months. If somebody cultivates the consciousness that eating is the most important activity for me, in America they have this people called foodies, right? So if you decide that I'm a foodie, God says, all right, then next time I'll make you a pig, so that you can keep on sniffing and eating all day long. This human form is not meant for eating, sleeping, mating, defending alone. These activities the animals are also doing. God has given the human form for something special. As George Bernard Shaw had said, life devoted only to life is animal, without any human value. For life to be truly human, it must serve some higher purpose, such as God, truth, and divine beauty. So God has given us a special gift in the human form. And this gift will not always remain. Why? Because we will soon find it being snatched away in the shape of death. There is only one thing which is sure in life, and that is death. As they say, dead sure. When something is truly definite, they say this is dead sure, because death will surely happen. This life is a veritable dead end. Like the cul-de-sac is a dead end, right? So is this life. So, the golden chance we had will be snatched away. It is being given to us, not permanently, but temporarily. Realize the value of it and utilize the opportunity to the maximum. Whatever best you can do, try and do it, because the opportunity may not remain tomorrow. Avasara bityo jata are mana. Kripaluji Maharaj says, "Oh my dear mind, the golden chance that came your way is passing away. And you are unaware. You are just wasting time. People retire. What are you doing? To spend time, I'm playing cards. Is this the utilization of the human form? Your attitude should be your real life begins after retirement. That's what I always tell retired people. Earlier you had so many distractions. Now you have only one work: to engage in devotion to God and to serve Him. But it's a question of realizing the specialty of the human form and the golden chance it has bestowed upon the soul. If you are unaware of it, your life will be wasted. Just like this fisherman wasted his good fortune. The fisherman got out of his house early morning to catch the fish. He walked to the stream. It was yet dark, the sun had not risen. He thought, let me wait a while until it becomes light enough for me to cast my net into the water. So to while away his time, he sat on the riverside on a boulder with his feet in the water. Under his feet he felt there was a cloth. When he put his hand, it seemed like a bundle. Out of his curiosity, he picked it out and he realized there was a bag in his hand. Casually he put his hand into the bag and he felt that there were some round, polished objects. He thought it must be a pebble of the stream. So he took out one pebble and chucked it into the water. When the pebble entered the stream, it created a pleasing sound, plop. That was exciting to his ears, so he decided to repeat it. He took another pebble and threw it into the stream. Again, the plop gratified the sense of hearing. He did it a third time until he had thrown 24 pebbles from that bag into the water. Now the last pebble was in his hand. When he took it out, he chucked the bag. It had become sufficiently bright enough for him to see. So he cast a glance, what is in his hand? He was stunned. In his hand was a priceless jewel. He said, what? God gave me 25 such gems? And in my ignorance, I threw away 24 of them. How unfortunate I am. But in my opinion, he was still fortunate. He got one jewel his way. We human beings are in the danger of being less fortunate than him, because more precious than those jewels is the gift of the human form. Without realizing its importance, we waste it away, fritter away, and then at the end of life regret. मरने के दिन निकट तब जीने का ढंग आया, जब ज्योति बुझ चली तब महफिल में रंग आया। मन की मशीनरी ने तब ठीक चल न सीखा, जब बूढ़े तन के हर एक पुर्जे में जंग आया। मरने के दिन निकट तब जीने का ढंग आया। So, the way to inspire yourself is to value the gift of the human form and to realize it is temporary. Thereby, utilize every moment judiciously. The Vedas say, Nashvashvah upasita kohi purushasya shveda. Don't endeavor slowly. Inspire yourself and put in your best efforts. So, get the proper reason why I need to put in my best and keep that knowledge in your intellect to be inspired. This is the third mindset for success.